morning. I'm Brenda, and I love making Amish sweet rolls, and I just wanted to share that recipe with you. Everyone at my church loves this recipe, and it's only got 6 ingredients, and I do them at a time where there's 3 plus 3. In one container, and I'm just going to turn this around and show you, just like this, I have 2 cups exactly of hot tap water, and I have 2/3 of a cup of sugar heaping. Also, I added, and I stirred that in so it would get melted, and then I added 1 1/2 tablespoons of dry yeast. I think I've used Fleischmann's this time, but I'm going to leave that set up here while it forms a nice head. I like it to get at least an inch head on it. And while I'm doing that, I'll be preparing my other ingredients. So that's 3 of the ingredients. Now the other 3 ingredients will be 6 cups exactly of all-purpose flour and 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt and 1/4 plus a little bit of oil, because I like to have a little extra, just a tiny bit of extra oil. And then I'll oil my bowls that I'm going to be using while I'm making my bread. Okay, I'm going to start by putting 6 cups exactly. Measure carefully and fluff it up while you are measuring, because you don't want it packed down. You want exactly 6 cups. It works every time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I fluff up my flour while I'm doing this. I fluff it up, just rub it off like that. I have exactly 1 cup. Fluff it up, 1, and do it, rub it off. Number 2, alright, fluff it up, rub it off. Number 3, I have lost count before. Fluff it up. Number 4, fluff it up, rub it off. 5, and 1 more. It's got to be good and fluffy, and don't pack down. It matters if it's packed down. So that will count as 6 cups, and when I look at it, it's right there. Do this, it's 6 cups, so that's great. Now, just a minute. I'll be adding 1 1/2 teaspoon I measure carefully, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I stir this up. I want the salt to be incorporated into that. Now, to make the next step so easy, I'm going to put 1/4 of a cup into my bread machine bowl. I don't use it to bake, but I do let it do the kneading. That makes it easier on me. Alright, I'll be right back. Whoops. Okay, here I have my pan for my bread machine. Make sure that your little thing down in the bottom is loose and turns easily. Alright, 1/4 a cup of oil. Plus just a little bit up above. Just barely, but not over. And I do take my finger and clean that out good. Alright? Now, that looks good, and that also coats the bottom and the little thing that goes around. Coats that really good. And makes it turn easily. Alright, so going to take a look at my, oh, look what has happened. You see, I put it up there in a warm place, and the head on it has come up high. So right now I'm going to pour this into my bread machine. going to circle it around a little bit to get it all out. Because that means the yeast is good. I have proof the yeast if it raises up like that. So that's a good thing to do. I stir around just a second. And then I just pour in my 6 cups of flour that has 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt in it. I just pour it in. I don't stir it. I don't do anything. And now I put it in my bread machine and let it knead it for me. All right, here we go. I hope you can see this. All right, now I close the lid and I put it on dough setting. I better get back, hadn't I? Okay, and it's right on dough. And I hit start. I just leave that alone and let that happen while I'm getting my bowls and everything ready to have it. I think this is about 10 minutes that it will need this, and I'll check it before I take it out to make sure it's right. Okay, I'll be right back. Now I am putting some, I use olive oil. It's extra light Bertolli's olive oil. I just love to use that. That's what we use at our house. And I'm just putting a little coating of oil on 2 bowls because I'm going to split the dough into 2 pieces. And just spread that around and have good greased bowls ready to receive the dough, to let it raise. Now I am going to put it in an oven, both bowls, with a pan of hot water on the shelf below so that it will hold the heat in the oven while it raises. And I'm going to let it raise 1.5 hours to 2 hours until it's double. Right now you can hear my bread maker. It's taking care of my bread, kneading it for me. Since I have shoulder and arm problems, that has been a lifesaver. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to wait until this gets done and I'll take it out. Now I do check my bread maker while it's churning this bread. Take a look at this. Now that looks pretty good. Look, and it's not sticky, just barely. It's getting just about right, and it's forming a smooth ball. So I'm just waiting on that. Now, if it's really sticky, you add like a teaspoon of flour. But if it's not sticking to your fingers, just leave it alone. It's perfect. All right, I'll be back. I do clean my surface and make it really dry right here where I'm going to put this. Sorry I'm not holding this right, but I just want it really dry and really clean, and I get rid of all my utensils except the one I would be using, so that I will have a nice place to put my dough out on here and knead it. And I'm also going to put a little flour on here. Okay. Now I've sprinkled my flour here and kind of spreading it out to receive my dough when I get it out of my bread maker. We're going to take another look at the dough, and it looks pretty good. It's close, I think, to being done. I hope you can see that good. It is nice, and it's getting really smooth on the outside, and it's taken up almost all of the flour, so it won't be long now. I have prepared 3/4 of a cup of raisins because I'm going to split my dough in 2. I'm going to make half of it into rolls, and the other half is going to be cinnamon raisin bread. My grandson loves that, so this will be for him today. I take 3/4 of a cup of raisins, and then I add warm tap water, pretty hot tap water to them to let them plump a little. and then I drain them and put them on paper towels and try to get all the water off that I can, because I'm going to take one loaf and incorporate that into, put the raisins into that one loaf. I'll make the loaf for you. Now you can see that I've placed a skillet full of hot tap water on the lower shelf of my oven. And I'm going to close the oven and get it warm in there. Okay, my dough has stopped, and here it is. I'm going to bring it out. Oh, goodness. All right, I'm going to put my camera down so you can see what I'm doing with it. Okay, now I'm just going to turn it upside down and shake it, and as you can see, it's going to come falling out. Not stuck too bad. What little bit is stuck, I reach in and grab. Not enough to count. Alright, now you can see that it's a little bit sticky, but it's supposed to be. That's why I've got my flour down here under it, and I'm going to put a little bit on my hands. There we go. And that should keep it from sticking. And I like to do this just a little. I do my own kneading to where it looks very nice and smooth. And then I'm going to split it in half. One for the rolls and one for the loaf of cinnamon raisin bread. I enjoy this. And I love to knead my own, but since my arm and shoulder have given me such a problem, I let my bread machine do the work for me. Be sure and praise the Lord today for the rain that He sent and how He has blessed us. Okay, I've got this into a nice round ball. I'm going to take my knife and try my best to get it in half. It doesn't look like it could make two loaves, but boy, it can. Okay, I'm going to say right there. Cut that and separate it. Now I'm going to feel that and form it back into a ball. Let me feel that one. And I put any splits down on the bottom. That feels about right to me. I'm going to look at them and see what I think, if they're even or not. Alright, I have two. It's been a while since I've made it, but I think I'm just going to cut a little bit off of this one and put on the bottom of this one. I think I missed it by a little bit. I love to bake. Okay, now I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to put it in a bowl that I prepared with oil in it. Turn it upside down, roll it around, flip it back over, and I'm ready just to put that one in the oven and let it raise. That will raise twice as big, and when it gets double, it's time for me to knead it again. Alright, this one, I'm going to add these. Right now I'm going to cover it while I take care of my raisins. Just a minute. I'm going to drain them. As you see, I've got the raisins out, and I'm drying them as much as I can. And I'm going to incorporate them into this roll of dough right here. Which is a little tough to do. Looks like it's hard to do. What I really like to do is just put it back in my bread machine and put these in with it and just let it run for a couple of minutes, and it will put the raisins just right. Okay. As you can see, I put the dough back in the dough machine with the raisins in it. Okay. I'm going to close the lid and let it run for a couple of minutes. Whoops. And I'll start that. And it will take those raisins and put them right where they need to be. as you can see, it's doing a great job of incorporating the raisins into the roll. So I'm gonna let it run just 30 seconds longer on this higher speed so it doesn't break them up, and then I'm gonna take it out. Okay, I'm just gonna put a little bit more flour on my surface, and then I'm going to, same thing again, dump out my dough. A little harder this time. Come on. Pull it out if you have to. Might have to add a little flour because the raisins may have been a little wetter, so I may have to add a little bit more flour on my surface. There we go. Now it came out. Okay, that's good. I'm going to pat my hand a little bit here. It's done a really good job of incorporating it. I just want to get it shaped a little bit better into a ball. But see how good it has spread those raisins out? I would have kneaded. And it did it all by itself. I love it. Okay, now I'm going to roll this under here to make me a ball. And I like to take these on top and stick them underneath. Because later when it's baking, I don't want the raisins on top. I want them inside. Of course, it's not going to matter now because I'm just going to be raising it. Okay, that looks good to me. Okay, it's shaped into a ball. Turn it upside down in my little oily bowl. Roll it around and flip it over. Put it in the oven and let it raise. Okay, that's all for now. I've got both of them in the oven, and I'm going to turn the light on. That gives a little bit of heat, so it'll have the light and it'll have the hot water that's underneath. By an hour and a half to 2 hours, they will have both doubled in size and raised. So I will see you then.